AITA for wanting to cut off contact with my father? Title says it all. This is a long story, so bear with me. I, 17F, and my dad, 60M, have never had the best relationship. He's a businessman, so ever since I could remember things he would be on business trips. I'm pretty sure he's missed almost all of my birthdays, parent-teacher conferences, or any other event I've ever been a part of. I graduated last week, and he missed that too. It's always just been my mom and me. I also have a little brother, but he's kinda irrelevant to this story. My dad has also been extremely abusive, never physically, but verbally. I cannot recall a single encounter with him that included fond or positive memories. It's always been him screaming at me. I'll give some examples. When I was 10, my mom gave me a curfew to be home by 9. I was just playing in the neighborhood with some of my friends, and my male friend who was 12 at the time was scared to walk home alone, so I and some of my other friends walked him home. When I got home, it was around 9:15 and my dad sees me in the security camera upstairs, and it's pointed directly at my room, and calls me. I pick up and he starts screaming at me at why I didn't come home earlier and calls me names and calls my male friend a puss and a sis for being scared. I told him it was rude to say things like that, and he tells me to slap myself for my punishment. I start sobbing and do so because he wouldn't let me go until I do what he says. Another instance 2 years ago, when I was 15, he brought me and my mom along to a business dinner with his friends. But immediately when we got there, his friends were rude to the waitress and I hated it, and you could definitely tell from my face. But I still tried to be nice and smiled. Afterwards, on the car ride home, he screamed at me at why I had such an ugly smile and why didn't I know how to smile, and didn't I know I ruined his dinner by making that ugly face? He slammed the car door shut and hits the car multiple times, and at this point I'm hyperventilating and I can't breathe. I could go on, but these are some of the more serious ones. It's gotten to a point where I feel unsafe in my own home, and I refuse to speak to him because he could explode over me not washing the dishes correctly or the corners of my mouth downturned. I've frankly had enough, and I've made this very clear to my mother as well that I wish to have no contact with him once I go to college. She understands but feels upset that this is our family dynamic. Also, my mom has never stepped in to stop him whenever he is yelling. She just quietly listens, watches, and occasionally comforts me afterwards. However, yesterday my mom was telling me about how my dad was talking to her and saying that he's never yelled at me whenever my mom couldn't handle disciplining me, and that he only steps in when I don't listen to my mom, but now I've made him the bad cop and my mom the good cop. This makes me feel really guilty for some reason, even though I know he's never been there for me. He's never said I love you, he's never shown he's loved me, and we literally talk once every few months. Have I really been too harsh on him? AITA for wanting to cut contact?